Hello students, I am going to bring you on the appendix the portion of your mathematics textbook which have been living since its printing and the textbook. Actually मैं ये जो अपेंडिक्स वाला जो पोर्शन है इसको सारे स्कूल, सारे मेंटर, सारे टीचर्स छुड़वा देते हैं, but this is very important portion with reference to this era of the artificial intelligence and data science. This is the chapter mathematical modeling. Here is the A 2.1 introduction is given here. An adult human body contains approximately 1,50,000 kilometers of arteries and the veins that carry blood. Do you remember? Do you know about that matter? Do you know about that fact? Have you listened about it? I think maybe, may not be. The human heart pumps 5 to 6 liters of the blood in the body every 60 seconds. The temperature at the surface of the sun is about 6,000 degrees Celsius. So the question is raised here, have you ever wondered how our scientists and mathematicians could possibly have estimated these results? क्या आपने कभी ये सोचा है, अगर आपने ये पढ़ा है या सुना है या आपने जाना है, तो कभी ये क्वेश्चन आपके माइंड में रेज हुआ है? क्या आपको ये आश्चर्य हुआ है कि किस तरीके से हमारे साइंटिस्ट और मैथमेटिशियन जो थे, गणितज्ञ थे, उन्होंने इस एस्टिमेशन को, इस अनुमान को, इस रिजल्ट को कैसे निकाल दिया, कैसे कंक्लूजन दे दिया? Did they pull out the veins and the arteries from some adult dead bodies and measure them? क्या उन्होंने वेन्स और आर्टरीज निकाली है एडल्ट की बॉडी में से या डेड बॉडी में से निकाल के उसको मेजर किया है? Did they drain out the blood to arrive at these results? क्या उन्होंने ब्लड को निकाल के ये रिजल्ट निकाला है? Did they travel to the sun with a thermometer to get the temperature of the sun? क्या वो थर्मामीटर लेकर सन तक गए और उन्होंने टेम्परेचर नापा? Surely not. Then how did they get these figures? अगर ये हम बिल्कुल श्योरली कह सकते हैं कि ऐसा नहीं हुआ है, तो फिर वो इन फिगर्स तक कैसे पहुंचे, इन डाटा तक कैसे पहुंचे, इन फैक्ट तक कैसे पहुंचे? वेल, द आंसर लाइन्स इज द मैथमेटिकल मॉडलिंग, और इसका आंसर है मैथमेटिकल मॉडलिंग है, विच वी इंट्रोड्यूस टू यू इन क्लास 9th ऑल्सो, बट यू हैवंट you didn't take care about that matter. Recall that a mathematics model is a mathematical description of the some real life situation. Mathematical model जो है वो mathematical description है real life situation का. Also recall that the mathematical modeling is the process of the creating a mathematical model of a problem and using it to analyze and solve the problem. मैथमेटिकल मॉडलिंग वो प्रोसेस है जिसके द्वारा हम हमारी जो रियल लाइफ प्रॉब्लम है उसको एनालाइज करते हैं, उसको सॉल्व करने का तरीका मैथमेटिकल मॉडल के थ्रू करते हैं. सो इन मैथमेटिकल मॉडलिंग वी टेक अ रियल वर्ल्ड प्रॉब्लम एंड कन्वर्ट इट टू एन इक्विवेलेंट मैथमेटिकल प्रॉब्लम. हम मैथमेटिकल मॉडलिंग में हम एक रियल वर्ल्ड प्रॉब्लम लेते हैं और उसको कन्वर्ट करते हैं इक्विवेलेंट मैथमेटिकल प्रॉब्लम में. We then solve the mathematical problem and interpret its solution in the situation of the real world problem. फिर हम उसको मैथमेटिकली सॉल्व करते हैं प्रॉब्लम को और फिर उसको इंटरप्रेट करते हैं उस सॉल्यूशन को रियल वर्ल्ड की जो प्रॉब्लम है उसके सिचुएशन के साथ रख के उसका सॉल्यूशन देते हैं. एंड देन इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट टू सी दैट द सॉल्यूशन वी हैव ऑब्टेन मेक्स सेंस. ये सेंस डेवलप करने वाली बात है, विच इज द स्टेज ऑफ द वैलिडेटिंग द मॉडल. और यही जो मैक्स सेंस जो है ये ही वैलिडेटिंग ऑफ द मॉडल है. सम एग्जांपल्स वेयर द मैथमेटिकल मॉडलिंग इज ऑफ द ग्रेट इंपॉर्टेंस आर. कुछ फील्ड है जहां पर मैथमेटिकल मॉडलिंग जो है सबसे ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंस रखती, महत्वपूर्ण है. फाइंडिंग द विड्थ एंड डेप्थ ऑफ ए रिवर एट एन अनरीचेबल प्लेस. सबसे बड़ी बात है कि अनरीचेबल प्लेस पे उस रिवर की डेप्थ और उसकी विड्थ पता करना, जहां हम पहुंच नहीं सकते रिवर वहां पर है. Estimating the mass of the earth and the other planets. अर्थ और अदर प्लैनेट्स के मास को एस्टिमेट करना, उसका अनुमान लगाना. एस्टिमेटिंग द डिस्टेंस बिटवीन द अर्थ एंड एनी अदर प्लैनेट. अर्थ से दूसरे प्लैनेट की दूरी का अंदाजा लगाना. प्रेडिक्टिंग द अराइवल ऑफ द मानसून इन अ कंट्री, कंट्री में मानसून और वेदर रिपोर्ट कैसे आएगा इसकी इसका प्रेडिक्शन करना। यस, predicting the trend of the stock market, estimating the volume of the blood inside the body of a person, predicting the population of a city after 10 years, estimating the number of leaves in a tree, estimating the ppm of different pollutants in the atmospheric of a city, estimating the effect of the pollutants on the environment, and estimating the temperature on the sun's surface. In this chapter we shall revisit the process of the mathematical modeling and take examples from the world around us to illustrate this. In section A 2.2 we take you through all the stages of the building a model. पहले building a model. In section A 2.3 we discuss a variety of the examples. In section A 2.4 we look at the reasons for the importance of the mathematical modeling. A point of the remember is that here we aim to make you aware of an important way in which the mathematics helps to solve real world problem. देखिए यहाँ सीधा सा है कि मैथमेटिक्स इज द मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट सब्जेक्ट एंड इम्पोर्टेंट ब्रांच ऑफ साइंस, और मैथमेटिक्स इज द वेरी close to the real life situation. However, you need to know some more mathematics to really appreciate the power of the mathematical modeling. In higher classes, some examples giving this flavor will be found. Higher study में तो मैथमेटिकल मॉडलिंग का रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट, ऑपरेशन रिसर्च, लीनियर प्रोग्रामिंग, डेमोग्राफी, वाइटल स्टेटिस्टिक्स, क्वालिटी कंट्रोल, क्यूइंग थ्योरी, मतलब आपको मैं इतना ज़्यादा बता सकता हूँ बिकॉज छोड़ आए हम वो गलियाँ। मैं इसमें बहुत ज़्यादा वर्क कर चुका हूँ क्योंकि मेरा सब्जेक्ट था स्टैटिस्टिक्स और वो पूरा प्रेडिक्शन और एस्टिमेशन बेस्ड सब्जेक्ट था। बहुत ज़बरदस्त कंप्यूटर आ गया है, डाटा साइंस आ गया, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस आ गया, उसमें इन सब की बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरत है। स्टेजेस इन द मैथमेटिकल मॉडलिंग। इन क्लास 9th वी कंसिडर्ड सम एग्जांपल्स ऑफ द यूज़ ऑफ द मॉडलिंग। डिड दे गिव यू an insight into the process and the steps involved in it? Let us quickly revisit the main steps in the mathematical modeling. Step first, understanding the problem. At the first, the identification of the problem is needed to know about some problem, define the real problem, and it working in a team, discuss the issue that you wish to understand, simplify by making the assumptions and ignoring certain factors so that the problem is manageable. सबसे पहले आप अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ द प्रॉब्लम, आइडेंटिफिकेशन ऑफ द प्रॉब्लम, फिर उसको आप सोचो कि ये प्रॉब्लम जो उसको अंडरस्टैंड करो कि क्या है, फिर उसको वर्किंग करके इश्यूज़ क्या है, डिस्कस द इश्यूज़ दैट यू विश टू अंडरस्टैंड। जो इश्यू आपने निकाले हैं उन पे आप डिस्कस करें अपने ग्रुप में। सिंप्लीफाई बाय मेकिंग एजम्पशंस, और उनको सिंप्लीफाई करने की कोशिश करें अपने एजम्पशंस लेके, अपने हाइपोथेसिस लेके। इग्नोरिंग सर्टेन फैक्टर्स, कुछ फैक्टर्स को इग्नोर कर दें और ताकि आपकी प्रॉब्लम जो है मैनेजेबल हो जाए। फॉर एग्जांपल, सपोज आवर प्रॉब्लम इज द एस्टिमेट द नंबर ऑफ फिशेस इन अ लेक। एक लेक में नंबर ऑफ फिश कितनी होगी ये पता करना है। इट इज़ नॉट पॉसिबल टू कैप्चर ईच ऑफ दिस फिश एंड काउंट देम। सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट ये है कि हम हर फिश को निकाल नहीं सकते, उसको गिन नहीं सकते। वी कुड पॉसिबल कैप्चर अ सैंपल एंड फॉर्म इट, ट्राई एंड एस्टिमेट द टोटल नंबर ऑफ फिशेस इन द लेक। हम क्या करेंगे, लेक में से कुछ फिशेस निकालेंगे और फिर पता लगा लेंगे उसके विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू एरिया तो कितनी फीस होगी, डेप्थ और इन सब के अकॉर्डिंग। स्टेप 2, मैथमेटिकल डिस्क्रिप्शन एंड फॉर्मुलेशन। अब इसके बाद स्टेप 2 आ जाता है मैथमेटिकल उसको डिस्क्रिप्शन करना, डिस्क्राइब करना और उसका फार्मूलेशन करना। डिस्क्राइब इन मैथमेटिकल टर्म्स में करना पड़ेगा द डिफरेंट एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ द प्रॉब्लम, सम वेज टू डिस्क्राइब द फीचर्स मैथमेटिकली इंक्लूड। सबसे पहले आपको डिफाइन द वेरिएबल्स। डिफाइन द वेरिएबल्स इज मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट thing in the equations. When you define the variables, you will be able to determine the equations related with the problem. Another thing is that define the variable words is most important in the data science, coding, computer programming and anywhere else. Write equations or inequalities. उसके बीच में अब वही बात आ जाती है एक्सप्रेशन में, उसको मैथमेटिकल एक्सप्रेशन में चेंज करना ठीक है, जैसे मैंने कहा कि मैं एग्जांपल देता हूं आपको. ओके, आई हैव सम रुपीज इन माय पॉकेट. ओके, एंड माय फ्रेंड हैज 100 rupees in his pocket. Okay, and we both went to a fair and explained 200 rupees. Okay, both of we expense or that may consume the all the fund which both we have. हम दोनों मेरे पास कुछ रुपीस थे, मेरे फ्रेंड के पास 150 रुपीस थे और हम दोनों गए. ठीक है, और हमने 200 रुपीज़ क्या कर दिए, खर्च कर दिए दोनों ने मिलके. तो मेरे पास कितने रुपीस थे? मेरे पास जो रुपीस थे वो वेरिएबल एक्स हो गया, उसके पास थे 150, एक्स प्लस 150, दैट इज द एक्सप्रेशन इक्वल टू 200. इन दिस वे, so write equation or inequalities and gather data and organize into tables. अब डाटा गैदरिंग ऑफ द फैक्ट्स एंड डाटा, और फिर उनको टेबल में करें, मैक ग्राफ बना एंड कैलकुलेट प्रोबेबिलिटीज. उसके बाद आपको प्रोबेबिलिटीज कैलकुलेट करना है. So for example, having taken a sample, stated in step first, how do we estimate the entire population? We would have to take then mark the sample feces, allow them to mix with the remaining ones in the lake. Again draw a sample from the lake and see how many of the previously marked ones are present in the new sample. Then using ratio and proportion, we can come up with an estimate of the total population. For instance, take a sample of the 20 fishes from the lake and mark them and then release them in the same lake so as to mix with the remaining fishes. We then take another sample, say 50, from the mixed population and see how many are marked. So we gather our data and analyze it. So major assumption we are making it is that the marked fishes mix uniformly with the marked fishes, and the same sample we take is a good representative of an entire population. Third, solving the mathematical problem. The simplified mathematical problem developed in the step second and then solved using various mathematical techniques. For instance, suppose in the second sample, in the example in step second, to 5 fishes are marked. So 5 upon 15, 5 is to 50, and that is the 1 upon 10 of the population is marked. In this, if this is a typical of the whole population, then the 1/10th of the population equal to 20. So the whole population equal to 20 into 10 equal to 200. The step 4, interpreting the solution. The solution obtained in the previous step is now looked at in the context of the real life situation that we had started within step first. For instance, our solution in the problem in step third gives us the population of the fishes as 200. Step 5, validating the method. We go back to the original situation and see if the result of the mathematical work makes sense. If so, we use the model until new information becomes available or assumptions change. Sometimes because of the simplification assumptions we may lose essential aspects of the real problems while giving its mathematical description. In such cases, the solution could very often be off the mark and not make sense in the real situation. If this happens, we reconsider the assumptions made in step first and revise them to be more realistic, possibly by including some factors which were not considered earlier. For instance, okay, in step 3, we had obtained an estimate for the entire population of fishes. It may not be the actual number of the fishes in the pond. We next see whether this is a good estimate of the population by repeating step second and 3 a few times. After कुछ समय के बाद फिर से हम उसको रिपीट करेंगे और उसको चेक करेंगे जो हमने अभी तक किया है. And taking the mean of the result obtained, this would give a closer estimate of the population. Another way of the visualizing the process of the mathematical modeling is shown in the figure A2.1. Real life problem equal to simplify, describe the problem in mathematical terms and solve the problems, and next the interpret the solution, the real life situation, and does the solution capture the real life situation? Yes, so model is suitable. No, so go through the चेंज इन द एजम्पशन, आपकी एजम्पशन चेंज करो, फिर से प्रोसेस पूरा करके आइए. Modelers look for a balance between the simplification for ease of the solution and the accuracy. They hope to the approximately reality closely enough to make some progress. The best outcomes is to be able to predict what will happen or estimate an outcome with reasonable accuracy. Remember that the different assumptions we use for simplifying the problem can lead to different models, so there are no perfect models, there are good ones and yet better ones. Exercise A 2.1. Consider the following situations. A problem dating back to the early 13th century posed by the Leonardo da Fibonacci asks how many rabbits you would have if you started with just 2 and let them reproduce. Okay, assume that a pair of the rabbits produce a pair of the offspring each month, and each pair of the rabbits produces their first offspring at the age of 2 months. Month by month, the number of pairs of rabbits is given by the sum of the rabbits in the 2 preceding months, except for the 0th and the 1th month. देखो हम मंथ शुरू करा, रेबिट है, रेबिट जो है रिप्रोड्यूस करते हैं और हर मंथ में वो एज ऑफ द 2 मंथ, पेयर ऑफ द ऑफस्प्रिंग इच मंथ एंड दे इच पेयर ऑफ द रेबिट्स. पेयर कोई करते हैं, देखिए फर्स्ट जो 0 मंथ था पेयर ऑफ द रेबिट्स था 1 है ना, फर्स्ट मंथ में पेयर ऑफ द रेबिट्स भी 1 ही था, ठीक है. सेकंड मंथ में 2 पेयर हो गए, थर्ड मंथ में 3 पेयर हो गए, 4 मंथ में 5 पेयर हो गए, 5 मंथ में 8 पेयर हो गए, 6 में 13 पेयर हो गए, 7 में 21 हो गए, 8th में 34 हो गए, 9th में 55 हो गए, 10 में 89 हो गए, 11 में 144 हो गए, 12 में 233 हो गए, एंड 13 में 377, 14 में 610 एंड 15 में 987 एंड 16 में 1597. आफ्टर जस्ट द 16 month you have nearly 1600 pairs of rabbits. Clearly state the problem and the different stages of mathematical modeling in this situation. Some illustrations. Let us now consider some example of the mathematical modeling. Example first, the rolling of a pair of dice. आप डाइस को जैसे ही फेंकते हैं, सपोज योर टीचर चैलेंजेस यू टू फॉलोइंग गैसिंग द गेम. She would throw a pair of the dice. वो डाइस को फेंकता है. Before that you need to guess the sum of the numbers that shown up on the dice. आपको जो नंबर ऊपर आते हैं उनका सम करना है. फॉर एवरी करेक्ट आंसर यू गेट 2 पॉइंट्स, आपको 2 पॉइंट्स मिलेंगे. एंड फॉर एवरी रॉन्ग गेस यू लॉस 2 पॉइंट्स. और जब आप गलत गेस करेंगे तो आपको 2 पॉइंट्स आपके लॉस हो जाएंगे. व्हाट नंबर वुड बी द बेस्ट गेस? सॉल्यूशन. द फर्स्ट, अंडरस्टैंडिंग द प्रॉब्लम. यू नीड टू नो अ फ्यू नंबर्स with having higher chances of showing up. सबसे बड़ी बात है कि कुछ नंबर्स का आपको बनाना पड़ेगा कि उसके हायर चांसेस है ऊपर आने के. स्टेप सेकंड, मैथमेटिकल डिस्क्रिप्शन क्या होगा इसका? इन मैथमेटिकल टर्म्स द प्रॉब्लम ट्रांसलेट टू फाइंडिंग आउट the probability of the various possible sums of the numbers that the dice could show. We can model the situation very simply by the representing a roll of the dice as a random choice of the one of the following 36 pairs of the numbers. देखिए 6 होते हैं डाइस पे, सो सीधा सा है कि उसके जो परमुटेशंस जो बन रहे हैं 1-1-1-1 कॉम्बिनेशन और परमुटेशन जो बनेंगे 36 बन रहा है. ओके, द फर्स्ट नंबर इन ईच पेयर रिप्रेजेंट द नंबर शोइंग on the first die and the second number is the number showing on the second die. दो डाई हम डाइज उठा रहे हैं और उनको थ्रो कर रहे हैं और दोनों पे. सॉल्विंग द मैथमेटिकल प्रॉब्लम, समिंग अप द नंबर्स इन ईच पेयर. Above we find that the possible sums are the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. We have to find the probability for each of them assuming all 36 pairs are equally likely. We do this in the following tables. हमने सम लिया, जो सम जो है 2 आने का जो प्रोबेबिलिटी है 1/36 है, 3 आने का प्रोबेबिलिटी 2/36 है, 4 आने का प्रोबेबिलिटी जो है 3/36 है, 5 आने का जो प्रोबेबिलिटी 4/36 है, 6 आने का प्रोबेबिलिटी 5/36 है, 7 का 6/36 है, 8 का 5/36 है, 9 का 4/36 है, 10 का 3/36 है, 11 का 2/36 है, 12 का 1/36. Observe that the chance of the getting a sum of a 7 is 1/6, which is the larger than the चांस ऑफ द गेटिंग अदर नंबर्स एज सम। जो 1/36 जो है 7 आने की जो प्रोबेबिलिटी है वो 1/6 है, विच इज़ द लार्जर, वो सबसे बड़ी है, ठीक है। सो दैट इज द, ये हो गया आपका। नाउ इंटरप्रिटेशन स्टेप 4, इंटरप्रेटिंग द सॉल्यूशन। सिंस द प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ द गेटिंग द 7 सम इज the highest, you should repeatedly guess the number 7. Validating the model, toss a pair of the dice a large number of times and prepare a relative frequency table and compare the relative frequency with the corresponding probabilities. If these are not close, then the possible the dice are biased, then we could obtain the data, evaluate the number towards which the bias is. Before going to the next example, you may need some background. Not having the money you want when you need it, a common experience for the many people, whether it is the having enough money for buying essential for daily living or for buying comfort. We always require money to enable the customers with limited funds of the purchase goods like scooters, refrigerator, televisions, cars and etc. A scheme known as an installment scheme or plan is introduced by the traders. Okay, sometimes a trader introduces the installment schemes as a marketing strategy to allure the customers to purchase these articles. So purchase the articles, and under this installment scheme the customers is not required to make full payment of the article at the time of buying it. She or he is allowed to pay a part of it at the time of purchase, and the rest can be paid in the installments, which could be monthly, quarterly, half yearly or even yearly. Of course, the buyer will have to pay more in the installment plan because the seller is going to charge some interest on account of the payment made at a later date, called deferred payment. Before we take a few examples to understand the installment scheme, let us understand the most frequently used terms related to this concept. The case price of an article is the amount which a customer has to pay as full payment of the article at the time it is purchased. Case down payment is the amount which is customer has to pay as a part payment of the price of an article at the time of purchase. Remark: this is if the installment scheme is such that the remaining payment is completely made within 1 year or the purchase of the article, then simple interest is charged on the deferred payment. In the past, charging interest on borrowed money was often considered evil, and in particular was long prohibited. One way people got around the law against paying interest was to borrow in one currency and repay in another, the interest being disgusted in the exchange rate. Let us now come to the related mathematical modeling problems. Example 2. Juhi wants to buy a bicycle. Juhi को एक साइकिल खरीदना है. She goes to the market and finds that the bicycle she likes is available for ₹1800. वो मार्केट गई, मार्केट में जो बाइसिकल उसको चाहिए थी वो ₹1800 की थी. Juhi has ₹600 with her. जूही के पास सिर्फ ₹600 थे. So she tells the shopkeeper that she would not be able to buy it. उसने शॉपकीपर से कह दिया कि मैं इसे नहीं खरीद सकती हूँ कि मेरे पास सिर्फ ₹600 दे. Shopkeeper, after a bit of the calculations, make the following offer, and he tells Juhi that she could take the bicycle by making a payment of ₹6 cash down, and the remaining money could be made in the 2 monthly installment of the ₹6010 each. थोड़ी देर के लिए उस शॉपकीपर ने सोचा, और सोचने के बाद उसने जूही को कहा कि तुम ₹600 के केस डाउन पेमेंट में ये बाइसिकल अपने घर ले जा सकती हो, पर उसके बाद आपको 2 मंथ के बाद एक पेमेंट करना है. हर 2 मंथ के बाद वो 610 ईच आपको देना पड़ेगा. जूही हैज़ 2 ऑप्शंस. वन इज़ टू गो फॉर द इंस्टॉलमेंट स्कीम or to make cash payment by taking loan from a bank, which is available at the rate of the 10% per annum simple interest. Which option is more economical to her? अब या तो जूही के पास 2 ऑप्शन थे, या तो वो बैंक में जाए और उसके लिए लोन लेके आए 10% पर एनम का, या फिर वो जो ऑप्शन दे रहा है शॉपकीपर वो वाला मान ले. सो सॉल्यूशन इज दैट the understanding of the problem what Juhi needs to determine is whether she should take the offer made by the shopkeeper or not. For this, शी शुड नो द टू रेट्स ऑफ द इंटरेस्ट. पहली बात उसको रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट पता करना पड़ेगा, उनको समझना पड़ेगा. वन चार्ज इन द इंस्टॉलमेंट स्कीम एंड द अदर चार्ज बाय द बैंक 10%. सो मैथमेटिकल डिस्क्रिप्शन जो है वो ये है. इन ऑर्डर टू एक्सेप्ट और रिजेक्ट द स्कीम शी नीड्स टू डिटरमाइन द इंटरेस्ट दैट द शॉपकीपर इज चार्जिंग इन कंपेरिजन टू द बैंक. Observe that since the entire money shall be paid in the less than a year, simple interest shall be charged. देखिए वो less than a year, कम ईयर में. We know that the case price of the bicycle rupees 1800. Also the cash down payment under the installment scheme rupees 600. So the balance price that needs to be the paid in the installment scheme rupees 1800 minus 600 equal to rupees 1200 will have to pay the Juhi. Okay, the let R% per annum be the rate of the interest charged by the shopkeeper. Amount of the each installment equal to rupees 610. Rupees 610 first installment and rupees 610 second installment. So in this way the rupees 1220 will have to pay the Juhi. Interest paid in the installment scheme equal to rupees 1220 minus 1200 equal to rupees 20 more. Since Juhi kept a sum of rupees 1200 for 1 month, therefore principal for the first month rupees 1200 and principal for the second month rupees 1200 minus 610 equal to rupees 590. Balance of the second principal rupees 590 plus interest charge rupees 20 equal to monthly installment rupees 610 equal to second installment. So the total principal of our month equal to for 1 month equal to rupees 1200 plus rupees 590 equal to rupees 1790. So the interest 1790 into R into 1 upon 100 into 12. Okay, so what will happen then? The solving the problem from first equation and second equation, okay, that is the answer will be 20. So 13.14 approximately. Interpreting the solution, the rate of the interest charged in the installment scheme 13.14% and the rate of the interest charged by the bank is 10%. So she should prefer to borrow the money from the bank to buy the bicycle, which is more economical. So the step 5, the validating the model. This stage in this case is not of the much importance here, as the number are fixed. However, it is formalities for taking loan from the bank, such as the cost of the stamp paper etc., which make the effective interest rate more than what is the installment scheme. Then she may change her opinion. Remark: interest rate modeling is still at its early stages and the validation is still a problem of the financial markets. In case different interest rates are incorporated in fixing installments, validation becomes an important problem. Exercise A 2.2. So here is the exercise and you will have to do it, and I think you are able to understand whatever I deliver the explanation through this book and through this video. ATV can purchase for the rupees 24,000 case for the rupees 8,000 case down payment at the 6 monthly installment of the rupees 2,800 each. Ali goes to the market to buy a TV and he has rupees 8,000 with him. He has now two opinion. One is to buy the TV under installment scheme or to make the cash payment by taking the loan from some financial society. The society charges simple interest at the rate of 18% per annum. Simple interest, which opinion as the better for Ali? Okay. So why is mathematical modeling important? As we have the seen in the example, mathematical modeling is an interdisciplinary subject. Mathematicians and the specialists in other fields share their knowledge and expertise to improve the existing products, develop better ones, or predict the behavior of the certain products. There are of the course many specific reasons for the important modeling, but most are related in some ways to the following: to gain the understanding, to predict or the forecast or the simulate Forecasting is very important in many types of the organizations, since the prediction of the future events have to be incorporated into the decision making process. For example, in marketing department, reliable forecast of the demand help in the planning of the sale strategy. A school board needs to be able to forecast the increase in number of the school going children and the various districts, so as to decide where and when to start new schools. Most often casters use the past data to predict the future. They first analyze the data in the order to identify a pattern that can describe it. Then this data and the pattern is extended into a future in order to prepare a forecast. This basic strategy is employed in the most forecasting techniques. Most often forecasts use the past data to predict the future. The first analyze the data in order to identify a pattern that can describe it. Then this data and the pattern is extended into the future in order to prepare a forecast. This basic strategy is employed in most forecasting techniques and is based on the assumption that the pattern that has been identified will continue in the future also. To estimate, often we need to estimate large values. You will see examples of the trees in a forest, fish in a lake, etc. For another example, before elections, the contesting parties want to predict the probability of their parties winning the elections. Okay, in particular, they want to estimate how many people in their constituencies would vote for their party. Based on their predictions, they may want to decide on the campaign strategy. Exit poll have been used widely to predict the number of seats a party and expected to get in elections. Okay, in this way, that is the exercise 2.3 and summary of the lesson. In this appendix, you have studied the following points. A mathematical model is a mathematical description of a real life situation. Mathematical modeling is the process of the creating a mathematical model, solving it and using it to understand and the real life problem. Second, the various steps involved in the modeling are the understanding the problem, formulating the mathematical model and solving it, interpreting it in the real life situation, and the most importantly, validating the model. Third, the developed some mathematical models and the importance of the mathematical modelings. So thank you very much. This is very related to the first step to about the artificial intelligence and data science, and mathematical modeling is bring you towards the mathematical modelings brings you towards the data science, interpretation, prediction and estimation.